something becomes visible. A false premise. A pattern that was running without being noticed. A courtroom that had no foundation. A care that was built on guilt. Whatever it was, it becomes visible. And then, almost immediately, something else arrives. A question. What do I do with this? That question is the economy of striving, still running in the half second after the seeing. The economy of striving doesn't just exist before the recognition. It exists in the wanting something to do with this. The moment a false premise is seen through, the economy arrives with its next offer. Apply this. Help someone else with that. Build a practice around it. Share this in a way that fixes something. Turn this into the next thing to pursue. It doesn't matter that the thing being pursued is the recognition of the economy of striving. The economy has a subscription model for everything, including itself. This is the most precise thing that the manuscript about the economy of striving says. The economy is not a concept that exists out there. It exists in the wanting something to do with this. Every time. In every context. Including this one. Which means the noticing isn't the finish line. The noticing is where the economy makes its last move. Here's what the pull actually is. Before the seeing, the pull was obvious. The false menu was visible. The choice from the false premise was recognizable as a choice from the false premise. The apology loading, the rescue running, the verdict forming in the half second before the response. After the seeing, the pull is more subtle than that. It doesn't look like the economy of striving. It looks like responsibility. It looks like compassion. It looks like the natural next step after understanding something. The reasonable expectation that clarity should produce action. But the shape is identical. Something is wrong or incomplete or insufficient, and I need to do something about it. Before the seeing, the something was the self. After the seeing, the something is often someone else. The person still inside the false premise. The relationship still running the old pattern. The situation that looks like it needs what was just understood applied to it. Which is still the premise of separation. There is someone out there who doesn't have what I now have, and I am responsible for closing that gap. That's not compassion. That's the economy of striving wearing the recognition of the economy of striving. Episode 17 asked a question. What would love do in this moment? That question has been running through the series since then. It seeded an entire arc. It became the operating premise of the Choosing Consciousness episodes. It was the question that arrived when the menu maker was named, when the courtroom dissolved, and when the apology was seen for what it was. Here's the honest answer. Nothing. Not because love is passive, not because love is indifferent to what's happening, because love doesn't see a threat to be managed. If nothing real was ever threatened, which is the premise the series has been following back to its source since episode 2, then doing isn't what any moment calls for. The doing was always a response to a perceived threat. Remove the threat, and the doing has nothing to respond to. That means every action generated by the fear that something is wrong or insufficient or needs to be fixed in yourself, in someone else, in the situation, is a choice from the false menu. Even when the action looks like love. Even when the action is the result of genuine clarity. Love doesn't do anything. Love sees. And the seeing by itself, without anything done with it, is already the most complete response available. Here's what makes this different from every other framework we've examined. Every other framework offered something to do. Regulate, release, let them, set a boundary, practice the pause, install the habit, build the capacity. All of it. Instructions for getting the hardware into better operating conditions so the program runs more cleanly. The seeing isn't something you do. You don't have to learn to see. You have to remember to just see. The economy of striving wants you to do something with what you see. That's the false menu. Make it into a practice, apply it to someone, build something from it, turn it into the next thing to pursue. All of it is the pull arriving in the half second after the seeing, offering the same menu in new packaging. You can notice that pull without following it. Not as a technique for not following it, just as what's actually available in the moment the pull arrives. Light doesn't chase. Light doesn't apologize for being light. Light doesn't do anything with what it illuminates. It just illuminates. The seeing is the same. It doesn't need to be applied. It doesn't need to be turned into something useful. It doesn't need to find someone who isn't seeing yet and close the gap. The economy of striving wants to recruit the light into its next project. Notice what happens in the half second after this episode ends. The economy of striving exists in the wanting something to do with this. What would love do? Nothing. Because nothing real was ever threatened. Sit with this.